Alright YouTube, we're back to show the newest toy that's being used for my property for agricultural use. And one of the first projects we have is to help bolster our forestry area. And we got this thing yesterday, and we just wanted to show you, we were very skeptical because we heard some horror stories. It's on a 1025R John Deere. We have a loader and some different features. We're going to be taking some hay with this potentially, and this is one of the projects we have to do. We have 98 trees to plant, in addition to the 2 that we already did with a shovel. So we're going to pick a spot up here, and we'll show you how quick it works, and you guys can make up your own mind. Remember, this is only 18 horsepower PTO on a 24.1 horsepower John Deere diesel 3-cylinder. So I'll show you from start to finish, and you guys can make up your own mind. Go up here?
Sure.
How about right here?
Okay. We just installed this last night, so this is the first time we've used it. It's now. So it has a little handle that you can lower it with.
That's at idle, guys.
That's at idle, he said, if you couldn't hear him.
We're gonna clean the hole.
That's one hole. That's a 12-inch auger bit. This
And it's done.
This is also capable of running a 9-inch and a 6-inch.
What did that take? 30 seconds?
Yeah. Like literally 20.
So guys, in closing, holy crap, this thing is awesome. And it was a lot cheaper than the John Deere product. The John Deere product, I'm sure is fine. I'm sure it's great. But this thing has, I mean, it's only done 3 holes, and I can't believe we were seriously considering doing it without. So if you guys are getting ready to plant like 100 trees or 200 or 600 trees, do yourself a favor and don't waste any more time. Just go ahead and get one right now.
It's a good thing the finance committee suggested it.
The finance committee, evidently my wife has taken that name, but she suggested it. So without further ado, we're going to keep doing this today, and we just did 3 holes in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's including me blathering
And
endlessly.
this one came with a stand,
Oh,
and a
and
lot
these
of them don't.
And these are the lights. Yeah, there's stands that stick into the
Like little
almost 2 spots.
red legs that stick in
And that way you can stand
in
it up.
here.
This thing is heavy.
It is.
But you can pick it up in your pickup truck. It's on a single pallet, and then the auger sold separately. So all in, we were around $700 on this unit.
Yep.
And then I think we had to buy the gear oil, which was 80W, or wait, was it 90W?
It's like 80W SAE 90.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And it's a gearbox oil. We used 2 bottles. We almost finished the second bottle. And other than that, it just was pretty much just frustrating to put together because I was working with my wife, and my wife was working with me. But
not terrible. We've done worse.
It was actually very easy compared to most projects. And the only reason it was frustrating is because it was cold and we were tired.
Yeah.
Because we've been trying to make sure to get this stuff done. And then these are the lights I just added last weekend. That was my birthday present. Everybody says this thing is my birthday present. It is most definitely not a birthday present because we needed it.
Yes, we did.
But the lights were my birthday present. And that's about it, guys. So just for size comparison real quick, I'm 6 foot tall. We set this to the last hole. You're not supposed to be able to do that, I guess. You're supposed to put it in here to start. I didn't have any problems putting it in that last hole, and if we didn't, we wouldn't clear the ground properly. This is a 36-inch hole. You can dig a 36-inch hole. You'll have to clean the hole like you saw me do. But let's show them the finished product here. We're going to have softened dirt, which will help. It'll help the root structure to go. We may need to clean that one just a little bit more. But as you guys can see, it's very quick. I was very concerned that it was going to sit on the surface and just not want to dig. This is pretty hard clay. It's been pretty much at freezing all day long. Tomorrow's going to be warmer.
But there is still little piles of snow
Yeah, you can
on
see
the
snow
ground.
right
There's
here,
a little
guys.
bit of snow still, so
Here's
the
the
ground
snow.
is cold.
So, yep, so the ground is cold. This stuff is not rock hard yet. And there's our adoptive cat, the cat that adopted us. So, guys, we're really excited to share some of this stuff with you. This is going to help us to get the property to where we want, which is basically really beautiful and also producing agriculturally so that we can bring a profit and help shelter our taxes a little bit. So that's it, guys. We had to show you. Is that the cat?
Yeah.
The cat always comes out and says hi. Another thing is, if you have a smaller tractor than this, it's supposed to be rated for 18 horse and below. Of course, that's going to be a diesel horsepower rating, I'm assuming. This shaft was supposed to need to be shortened on some tractors. We didn't have that problem, and you'll notice that our 3-point is on the outside, not the inside. You can build this the other way around. I know the Kabuto is a little bit narrower, if I remember right. So you may want these arms to be on the inside, and you can build that different so that this wishbone is actually on the other side.
And
if
you have a narrower spread.
You probably could actually put one on the inside too and get away with it, if you don't mind it shooting off to the side. Or if you're going into an awkward spot where you're working along a tree line or whatever. But really impressed, and I've only done 3 so far. And by the way, that, what did we, $700 all in, that includes the auger. That includes this, and then I think I bought extra bolts for shear pins, because it did come with 2 shear pins, because there's 2. There's one this way and one that way, but it didn't come with any spare shear pins. So you may want to get some extra shear pins, which are basically like a low grade bolt. Don't get you can either go really hard and compromise the gearbox, or you can go really soft and have them potentially bend. But that's going to be a call. I'll let you guys debate that in the comments below. But thanks for watching, guys. This thing's awesome. Just go get one if you need to dig. Like, if you need to dig 10 holes, just go get one. It's worth it. I mean, you'll spend like 70 bucks a hole, but anybody who's dug a hole that's 36 inches deep, that's 12 inches wide. Oh, and by the way, that's the 12-inch auger. I don't know if I mentioned that. You can also get a 9-inch or a 6-inch auger. So if you're doing smaller fencing and you wanted to do, you know, without a sono tube or anything like that, you could totally do that, and then just pack that dirt back in and just compact it, you know, with a treated pole. But we're loving it so far. We'll let you know how it comes out with the trees. Checking more to come. Maybe we'll win the battle with this tree soon. You may have seen the video. I'm not sure if you have, so I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, except for that cat. He's out of the bag. All right, guys, so we're going to do, we've been planting trees. These are the way the trees and bushes look. The bushes are off to the right. Those are all elderberry bushes. Then we've got birch trees, which is next to it. Then pin oaks, and then red oaks on the very far left. And as you can see, they're relatively small, and we are getting ready to dig a couple more holes, and we wanted to show you in the light of day how this is working out. And it's been working really nice with the loader, because we can lift it up and keep those buckets, have water to soak the trees before we get them planted in. So we'll just show you. This is kind of a rooty shore along the banks of our, if you want to show them where we did the 3, and then I'll get myself set up.
Okay. We've done 3 elderberry here. You can see they're just all pruned up. And then he's got some holes over here already. There's a hole here, and one there, and one there. We'll go back and plant some oak trees in those holes. So we marked our spots here. We haven't really been marking them, but we wanted kind of a little grove of elderberries, because then the kids can come out and pick them. So we kind of wanted these to all be together, and it'll help with some erosion control on this side of the creek. If you haven't seen videos before, we do own both sides of this creek, but this is the part that we've cleared. This is the 12-inch auger bit, which we're super glad we didn't get anything smaller than that. This has been perfect just for these small little saplings that we're doing. You do have to make sure you keep the cutting blades cleaned off, especially in a spot like this that has a lot of roots.
So you guys probably noticed it shattered there a little bit. I had my 3-point hydraulic setting. There's a slider here, and it just sits still whenever it gets to the setting you want. It just goes there and then it stays. And if you leave that auger in position and it's already cleared the debris, it'll start walking in the hole. And so that's what happened there. So I didn't want you to think there was a problem, because there wasn't a problem. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and fire it back up, drive out, and you guys can just inspect and see how nice the hole looks. because we all know you want to look inside my hole.
So it's really hard to tell in the sun, but we probably have a good 24 inches that's cleaned out with this. The other nice thing about this auger, especially when you're planting trees, is the dirt's already broken up for you, so it's really nice to just put back in. Way better than a shovel. So he's got this one ready to go already, which is nice because we had it marked. This part of our property has just really nice black dirt. There's some areas up by our house where there's more clay, but the ground is cold. It's not freezing today, but it's been freezing all week. That's why we're planting trees today. So that clears out the hole pretty well. You can see how some of the roots get stuck to that cutting blade. So that's what you just have to go through and like pick those off. And there is another hole. And this will be the last one if he does this third one, and we're only at less than 4 minutes on the video.
Let's show them this. So the other thing we found out about this auger, which is not anything against the actual post hole digger part, which is this part, the gearbox, everything but this. Let's show them in the light of day what's going on.
Yep, I was just explaining that on the video.
Yep. And so what happens is you'll catch these roots, and it's not really too hard for me, but Megan has a little bit harder time getting the root structure pulled out. And there's these replaceable cutting teeth that are actually what do the digging. Because remember, there's no hydraulic pressure downward on this. This 3-point mechanism, it just does this. That's all it does. Right here, these arms, they lift up this bottom linkage, and so that just lifts it up, and then it's not hydraulically lowered. It just drops with gravity. So the pressure is only up. So there's 2 of those arms, and then this one just pivots. Okay. So when this goes into the ground, the only weight that's pushing down on it is just the weight of the vehicle, and then any of the center of gravity that I can change with the loader bucket, which is full of a lot of water and stuff. So that does help a little bit. But you can see we have a nice clean hole, and we went through a lot of roots. So what I'm finding is that if you try to cut and you've got a lot of these roots, it will make it a little bit harder, but you can get through. The biggest thing is when you get a really nasty bunch of them right here, and you take that cutting edge away. And remember, these are replaceable. You can get them for just a few bucks. There's one bolt, carriage bolt that goes through, and there's a nut and lock washer, and that's it. So when you pull that stuff out, you can see the gap in the teeth. So that would be maybe the only thing that would be kind of nice is if this was one piece. I don't know if you'd have that problem. But you can buy a different auger, I believe, for this thing. I don't think you have to stay with this brand, but let's show them the pins real quick while we're here in the light of day. See how this, you can't really move it too easy when it's hooked up, but there's a bolt, and then there's another bolt here. Okay, so you basically have access to 2 different shear pins. These are shear pins. And so when I say shear pins, that means that under the load of this spinning from the PTO shaft, which is a rotary reaction, it comes up through the U-joint here and the U-joint there. It spins this thing, and then it only spins one direction because the PTO doesn't reverse on this type of machine. Okay, I don't think it reverses on any of them, but that'd be sweet if you could do that with the gearbox, because then you could clean your tip by going backward. So anyway, that would be one of the big advantages if you're looking at one with a hydrostatic controller or a hydraulic gearbox, because, well, it wouldn't be a gearbox, it'd just be a drive. So, and then you can also have a hydraulic boom and all that, and you can push down on it, but you have to use hydraulics for that, which means you need a hydraulic up, and you would need a hydraulic to run this. So really happy with it so far. This thing has been working really good. It's a CountyLine. It's by Tractor Supply Company. They're pretty much all the same. If you start looking, you'll find out they're pretty much all the same. They're probably made by the same manufacturer, but I don't know that for a fact, so I can't say that. So far, we've been really happy. This was like, I would say of the price point that we saw, it was on the lower price point.
Yep.
Like almost the lowest. There were some Amazon units and things like that that were okay too, look like. But for us, we needed to find one in store because we planned really far ahead and ran into a situation where we basically didn't plan quite far enough ahead, and we needed this.
And they had the bit, and they had both things in stock.
And this. And there was another Brian that called the same day, 5 minutes before I called, wanting a 9-inch. And he bought it about 20 minutes before I walked in. So luckily, we both got what we want, both Brians. The people at the store thought I was crazy. So, funny story. But anyway, the holes are digging really nicely, and you can see they just, it's not without effort. You know, once you get the hole dug, you still got to plant in the, you know, the plants and everything. But that's just going to be subject to what you guys pick for your plantings. Or if you're putting in post holes, you'll have a little bit extra material. So you got to think about what you're going to do with that material. The other thing is we have pretty good soil here. Even over there where we had clay, the clay was about this deep because that's what they got out of our walkout ranch when they were digging the basement. Have you shown the house? When they dug the basement, they pulled it out, and then you can see where that little chicken coop is. That's our septic sand filter area. So basically they had a ton of clay once they dug down, well, lots of tons of clay, and they used that to sculpt a lot of that finish work, which, if you ask me, you typically don't use clay for finish grade, but that's what they had, and it actually worked out okay, and we're probably going to go in and put more dirt on top of it at some point. But these are elderberry bushes, so we're going to use those for fruit, and or elderberries, not elderberries, sorry. And a lot of the plants that we're doing, did you show me any of the red oaks?
No, not the...
Might as well show you real quick while we're at it. You can see one here. We've been marking them so that they don't get killed by accidentally running them over. And you can see we've packed in pretty good around there. Obviously they need to be watered in nicely, but there's another one here and another one there. And we just are alternating between the pin oak and the red oak.
And then we have river birch that we're doing kind of up alongside the creek.
And the river birch are dinky.
Yes.
So we've been finding that sometimes it's easier to just use a shovel and pierce in and kind of open up a gap and then close back up.
Yeah.
But it always seems easier when you're trying to think through it than when you go out and actually do it. How many do we have done now?
30-ish, maybe.
30-ish. So
Not
this
enough.
thing has been invaluable.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have taken a ton more work. I mean, we've hardly dug anything. Mostly we've been on our knees pushing the dirt back in the holes.
Yep.
So, but anyway, love it. The John Deere 1025R is working great. Having the loader has been super handy. I'm not very good with it, but look at that beauty. And then I didn't even think about it, but the yellow, it's almost matches. Almost, it's this close to matching the John Deere yellow, but it's just not quite. And I'm pretty sure the John Deere people that are like really in love with John Deere, which I like John Deere, but I'm not like super married to it. I just happened to find a tractor for the right price at the right time from the right salesman, and it had a lot of the features I wanted, so I ended up with it. And I also have a John Deere zero turn, which again, I didn't go to find a John Deere zero turn. It's just the salesman was helpful and the price was right and the timing was right, and that's what I bought. So maybe that's why John Deere sells a lot of stuff, and everybody keeps giving me crap about how expensive the green paint is. And I'll be honest with you guys, just go out and look. I mean, they all go for about the same price when you start looking at real tractors, Kabuto and John Deere, and if you get into the Case IH stuff or the international stuff or the older Fords and things like this, Massey Ferguson, they're all going to be about the same price point in the subcompact market, because these aren't going to be 30-year-old tractors.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, I can tell you this, we had a spot over here where I could barely fit.
Yeah.
If we would have got a 95 or 150 horsepower tractor, not only would we have spent as much as it would cost to put in this driveway again and build our building, and that's not an exaggeration, we would have basically had a tractor that was too big to do a lot of these projects that we need to do, and we just don't have enough land to justify having that much more horsepower. It'd be super nice if we were digging, but you know, to be honest with you, for $1,500 I can rent a big machine for probably, I don't know, a week, I'm guessing, and they would deliver it and I could use it to dig a pond or whatever it is I need to do. So having this takes the heart attack pressure off of the rental. You know, if you have a rental, you're just like, I gotta get it done, gotta get it done, gotta get it. And speaking of, we gotta plant the rest of these trees.
I was just gonna say.
So my camera crew was reminding me. Guys, thanks for watching. This thing is awesome. And I love the tractor so far. It's been really fun. We're glad to be able to share a little bit more about our house. The airplane stuff is definitely not gonna stop. Don't worry, we're not just gonna do radio controlled cars now. I got a lot of comments about that on that Jeep video, which I don't know why you guys freaked out so much. But it's just getting cold and crappy,
here.
and it's been windy like every day. So there's just only so much you can do. And the AL37 isn't here yet. So anyway, there's more airplane stuff coming, but this property is a big part of our lives, and we have to spend a little bit of time on it occasionally.
For a lot of bit of time.
A lot of time. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back for more. And if you haven't already bought one of these, and you're thinking about buying one of these,
Just buy one.
just buy one. Stop talking about it. Just go get it. It's not that big a deal. The storage will work itself out. You can always just put it out in the front yard and make your neighbors think you're weird. But thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate your support.